Your business is an interesting business. It's called Sampler, and you have created this incredible organization that really helps to get products into the hands of consumers. What is the story behind why you decided to do this?
Yeah, so I started my career handing out free product samples in grocery stores and pharmacies and even on street corners as a brand ambassador. And I always felt like it was crazy that we were just giving out these very valuable products without truly understanding exactly who's receiving the sample, how that converts to a positive experience, a negative experience, or even a purchase. So fast forward several years, I went into tech, worked for a couple of years in New York at a venture capital firm, and then decided to come back to Canada and to launch Sampler with the same idea in mind.
What were some of the challenges in terms of the early days of starting your company?
Yeah, I mean, I think in general it was a big leap of faith to decide to embark in that journey. So some of the early challenges were just maybe finding the first customers. For me, like I've always been a salesperson, so it was really important for me that there was a buyer before we started investing in building the technology. So I think that was one of the first hurdles for sure.
In terms of growing the business and hiring, what about that process? What are some of the challenges that you've gone through for that?
I think it still is such a science to find the right person for the role, but I always felt that the most important thing is the attitude that you come to work with and your willingness to learn. And that was very true early on, just making sure we hired people that were willing to put in the hours to learn and to grow with us. And we still have the same philosophy today.
Despite the fact that there are more and more female founders all the time in the technology space, we still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
How do you think we're going to get to the point where we get more women who are comfortable, excited, and opening more technology companies?
I think it's about leading by example, and that's why I like to get involved with things like this, where we can highlight the fact that it is possible and that it is the best job in the world to be a tech entrepreneur. So I think we, as women in tech, we need to just lead by example and be sure that we're helpful to each other and that we're lifting each other up.
Part of lifting each other up is really moving the dial for other people. You know, some of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world are those people who go out and help others. Who moved the dial for you?
For me, it was Michelle McBain. Michelle McBain was actually our first investor, and since then has been part of the growth every step of the way.
How optimistic are you that we will get to the point where we will see more women in tech, either as founders or maybe taking on other roles?
Very. I mean, we're seeing it. Like it's incredibly. It's so nice to see how far we've gone over the last 4 years, and specifically here in Toronto, I feel like it's being talked about. Everybody's playing a part in making a difference, and movements like Move the Dial are huge in that.
Sometimes I think in technology we get stuck in a little bit of a bubble. I mean, I see it somewhat in Toronto as far as these communities who are really great at helping to prop each other up. Do you see opportunities in other parts of the country in terms of ensuring that women there have access to the same type of capital, to the same type of support as well?
Yeah, definitely. I'm originally from Montreal, actually, so French Canadian, and one of the things that I've been seeing a lot of is women that are traveling from Montreal to Toronto to spend time here and have access to the opportunities, and so that's definitely one of the things I'm seeing, and obviously that community in itself is also growing quite significantly, but yeah, like I think there's a lot of opportunities to give access to the same resources there.
What's your goal as far as taking your business into the future, that next big step that you want to take?
Yeah, so today Sampler actually works with about 15% of the top 100 CPGs in the world. So we work with really big names, L'Oreal, Kraft Heinz, Red Bull, and we just want to continue to expand within those logos and continue to do great work for them and to add more logos to the roster.